welcome everyone back to the Crimson 15 podcast. I'm your host, Crimson Sin, and today I will be reviewing the first episode of Carmen Sandiego. It's a remake, reboot of the classics video game series. It was a game show at one time and a cartoon series on Fox Kids way back when, but now Netflix got their hands on it and they did a whole new version of it. It's nothing like any of the other ones. It just has a name only. And it's not... I can't say, just off this one episode, I can't say that it's good because it has a lot of stupid moments that are just like pointless and dumb just to make Carmen, this character, is a little too perfect at everything. She never fails. At least in this episode, this first establishing episode, it establishes that she's always right. Everyone else is always wrong. She's the righteous one. Everyone else is bad. It's just... It's not as it's entertaining because the animation, while I don't necessarily like the flat storybook look to it, at least it's consistent most of the time. There are moments where Carmen is running or there's a lot of action. You can see it's kind of choppy, just a little bit, not too often.
How's my temperature?
Warm, Red.
But at least it's consistent, unlike something like She-Ra where it was just all over the place. So it's not the worst thing in the world to look at. But for anyone who's new, check out my She-Ra reviews. I will go through the whole entire episode, scene for scene, just point out things that I noticed, liked, didn't like, story elements. But I will do a full-blown reaction breakdown. So it's probably going to be about 20-25 minutes. But if you're here for the short version, it's a little bit lower than okay. If I had to give it a letter grade, it's a C-. It didn't do anything horrible. It didn't do anything great either. We open up and we get this French inspector guy. God, he's awful. His accent is so bad. And he is the stereotypical, I'm the man, I'm right because I'm a man, and being a man is great, and being a girl is stupid. They literally set him up for us to hate this guy because he has like this female assistant. She looks a little mousy. It reminded me so much of like Inspector Gadget, where he's the bumbling moron and Penny in Inspector Gadget was really the smart one. And they should swap places. This lady should be the head detective and he should be the one following orders because he doesn't do anything right. He's a dummy. He's played for jokes. Even though he's supposed to be technically the police, Interpol, the good guys, he's an idiot. We get an exposition here where they're explaining, they call her the Crimson Ghost. Hey, they're still in my name. Crimson Sin's better. But apparently she's stolen like $100 bajillion or pounds worth of stuff, which is ridiculous. And she's like, oh, she always announces herself by like being in the area before she steals something. And that's weird, but I guess that's part of the game of stealing things. And that's what she brings up. And he's just as dumb as ever because he's like, oh, you're so... He doesn't call her stupid, but he pretty much tries to put her in her place or mansplain it to her. Ugh. Every male character in the show is a bad guy, except for the computer nerd. But every male person is either a bad person, a misogynist, or just an idiot. And this guy's all three. But as they're driving down this place, because this is one of the places she's going to hit, she actually notices Carmen Sandiego like in a rearview mirror. And she's trying to tell the inspector guy, hey, she's back there, but he's not listening. Oh, be quiet. I'm gonna explain things to you. But she sees him, and we get Carmen's running from rooftop to rooftops. And this, again, the establishing shots are pretty good here. And I brought this up in the trailer. I'm like, are they gonna bring in any educational stuff? Because originally Carmen Sandiego was invented to teach geography, history, stuff like that. So they kind of do it a little bit with this hacker guy, and his name is Player. That's so cringy. His name's Player, and he's like, oh, you're in France. He's like naming the country, and he's like showing the geography of it all. So that's kind of cool that they kind of kept that original aspect of it being in edutainment, but it's very light. Like, they don't go into detail or anything. They just kind of showed it a little bit. But we get to see that Carmen uses gadgets. She has a whole bunch of different ones like in her code, and she has like a grappling hook, and she hacks the computer. She doesn't hack the computer. She plugs it in, and then this Player guy, her guy in the chair, computer nerd, he's the one who hacks it, which is kind of ridiculous. And I know this is they do this in My Little Pony. There's no real letters. Like you'll see it on screen right here. It's all just kind of like this word block, not real writing, and that's all the writing is done. Why do they do? Is it because it's easier to animate? I don't know. It's just weird that was just a thing that I noticed. They do that in My Little Pony as well as this. So she gets up to the skylight and everything, and she's going down. Again, another really cool shot. She lands, and one of the masks lights up, and it shoots arrows at her. Of course, she's so awesome she can get like there's like a shield that was nearby, and it blocks all these arrows. Why wouldn't an alarm just go off? Why a bunch of arrows? So if everything went right with the security system, there'd be a dead woman in the middle of the floor. What? It's so ridiculous. But of course she's the smartest person in the world, so she figures out that was going to happen. The inspector guy, instead of calling for backup, which his partner suggested, he's like, "No, I'm going to be the one to catch her." He kicks in the door and he gets into the elevator, and since it's like an old building, the elevator is like crazy slow. Haha, it's a gag. We get back to Carmen, and she's like walking around, and there's the banter back and forth between her and her guy in the chair. We get to see some of her more of her gadgets, and she has like another code cracking thing. Why couldn't she use the lipstick thing from last time? But this one actually looks like a game controller, and she finds that it's hidden behind a wall and everything. And of course, she figures out everything. She doesn't even have to try. We get back to our inspector, and he was in the elevator and only went up one floor. So he ends up having just to run because, of course, it's a big waste of time. They crack the vault, it opens up, and she sees like all these treasures like this. There's like this big blue crystal gem diamond looking thing. But then she notices something in a display case, and she's like, "Oh, I thought I would never see this again." We don't get to see what it is. She never gets a chance to explain it. But it cuts back to the inspector, and he's like knocking on the door. "Oh, it's Interpol, open up." Like, has anyone ever done that? She's in there. She's the thief. There isn't any guards. No alarms are raised. Just kick the damn door in. You don't need to freaking announce your presence. Of course, we don't know what she stole. I'm pretty sure she left that diamond thing behind and stole whatever's in that case. It must mean something to her. He tells her to stop, and of course she doesn't. And she just goofs on him. Like, she literally, like, kicks an ottoman at his legs and knocks him down and jumps on his head like a Mario Brothers character. And, of course, she's just goofing on him because he's a moron. "Oh, freeze! On whose authority?" So he goes in his shirt pocket to bring out his badge, and she pickpocketed him. So when she jumped on his head, she somehow took that out of his coat. "Oh, yeah." She's like, "Oh, name is Chase. Let's see if you live up to your name." Like, everyone has, like, a stupid sounding name. Like, I know Carmen Sandiego and the group that she's part of, they all have like code names, but everyone has like a really dumb name. She gets out of there, and then we get this we get a chase scene from Chase, and it's goofy. It's played up for laughs. It's played out for silliness. She's like the unstoppable parkour master. Like, she can't be stopped. So she's jumping from building to building like 30 feet across, like she's Spider-Man. And of course, Chase here just can't. He's like shimming across the thing, and he does the jump, and he barely makes it. And so she's like waiting for him. So she's just goofing on him the whole time. And this is where the animation, I say, gets a little bit choppy with her hair. It's only for a couple of seconds, but it's something that I noticed. But for the most part, the animation is pretty good. They keep running and running and running, and she gets to a ledge, and she has her signature, hang glider. Like, it just pops open, and then she can fly. Hang gliders aren't powered. This seems like it might be powered by something, like it has some way to propel itself, but we don't see, it doesn't have a prop or anything, or jets or anything, but somehow she's able to keep moving. That's not how hang gliders work, but she's on this building. I'm guessing is 4, 5, 6 stories up. Chase is chasing after her, and he falls off the building. I'm like, oh, he's dead. He literally lands on his car, which his partner was waiting in, and then his face like slides down the glass, slides down the broken glass, and he's perfectly fine. He didn't hurt himself or anything. He'd be dead. Chase is dead. This guy should have been dead. How great would that have been if this character gets introduced as supposed to be like her foil, always chasing her, and he dies in the first episode? That would have been amazing. But no, he's alive, and he basically tells his partner, "Oh, go secure the scene, and I'm gonna chase after her." In his car that he landed on top of, which probably would have ruined it, if not killed himself. She's flying through the air, and she's got to make the train. So I guess he hacks the thing and gives her a train ticket or whatever. And it's perfectly timed, everything she did. So she must have known she was going to run into this guy and have their little chase scene, and because she's just perfect at everything. She gets to the train, lands, and in the matter of 4 seconds, she's out of her uniform and in her like street clothes. Unless she had everything underneath and it was like breakaway. It's just another gag. Our inspector guy's chasing after her, and then we get back to it's another really dumb scene. I don't know if this was supposed to prove how dumb he is, but she's trying to secure the crime scene, so she goes in an elevator, and of course it's super slow. It's a slow elevator. Chase calls her and asks her, "Can a car catch a train?" And she's like, depends on how many stops it makes and how long it stops for. And then he's like, that gives me a chance. I'm going to chase after it. It's just a worthless scene. It's just really dumb. It's just to establish that he's a moron. I guess that's like the only reason to do that. Carmen has she's in a first class and everything. And this is from the trailer, a lot of the scenes. And she sits down and she's having banter with her player guy. And then we get our look at her villain. I want to say, let's say a bad person because they're all thieves. So a meaner thief. He comes in and he has his little shocker rod thing and shoots her with it. But it's not like a taser. It's just like an EMP thing. So it just took out her electronics. Why? Why do that? She's like really good at fighting and all this other stuff. Why not just knock her out, capture her, do whatever it is you're gonna do? But no, it just knocks out her communication thing, so it cuts her off from her guy in the chair. Then of course there's gonna get another scene. This is why I can't say the series is good, because Carmen has an answer for everything. She has contingencies for her contingencies. She has plans for her plans for her plans. And he's like, "Oh, I caught you. I knew there was a tracking device. I wanted you to catch me." It's crap like that just makes me not like this character, because she has no flaws, none, zero, nothing. This first entire episode, it just proves how ever since she was a little girl to this moment, she's does everything right, and everything wrong that happens in her life is because of someone else. So he even straight up asks her like, "Oh, how did we basically come to this?" Even though they went to school together, the thief school. And he has a horrible Australian accent. Oh, another bad accent. I know they're trying to do this whole thing where no Americans allowed. So everyone in the show is from everywhere but the United States of America. Except for maybe the one evil girl, but they don't really say where she's from. But everyone else is from somewhere international. We cut back to like a flashback, and she's like, "I'm going to explain it all." Apparently, she was abandoned to this island where they have this evil school at. It was just ridiculous. I don't get it. So she was like an orphan baby. One of the thief teachers picked her up and brought her back to this island. Like, that's ridiculous. That's your answer. But we get to like preteen Carmen. Like, I don't know how old she's supposed to be. Is she still a teenager or is she a woman? I don't know, but I'm assuming it's a high school setting, so I'm guessing she's at least 14 in this scene. And you see like one of the teacher ladies, and she's like, "Oh, on this island you have no electronics," and everyone like, "Oh," kid gets all scared when they break the cell phone. Is this a real school? Is this something you can sign up for? It's so ridiculous. Then they call her like Lamb or something, like Lost Lamb. And the guy, which is the same guy who caught her in the train, like laughs and he pulls him forward. "Oh yeah," and no one else is allowed to call me that, and like gets all up in his face. And of course he's scared out of it. I'm surprised he didn't even crap himself, because she's such a badass and she's so powerful and everything, and I'm gonna put this man in his place. There's a lot of these little moments where it's, if swap the genders, it's a guy, he grabs a girl like this basically gets up in her face and tells her how things are going to be. The internet would have freaking exploded with how horrible that is. But apparently, if a female does it to a male, it's A-okay. And this flashback, she's explaining this flashback to him. It was him. He knows what happened. It doesn't matter. Like, it's so stupid. Tell me things that I already know that I was there. And then she straight up gives him the whole... from her childhood when she's like a little girl. She had these little Russian dolls that, the ones that can go inside of each other. And that's all she has from her past. She knew nothing else. She didn't even know who brought her to this island. But apparently she had a bunch of nannies. And they brought me their diversity. So again, no white people. They taught her how to read and showed her books and taught her all these things. But apparently they never taught her that being a thief was bad. And she kind of saw it as a like, oh, thieving is fun. It's like a game. And they keep trying to. Are they trying to teach children that it's okay to steal things? As long as you think that it's okay to steal things, it makes it okay to steal things. But I guess she grew up at the school, but she never attended the school. So she wasn't a student. She was just like, oh, that kid who lives here. And another scene, which is kind of funny, where everyone's like goofing on her, hey little lamb, and like some guy like tussles her hair, and she pulled his belt and his pants fell down, and that's the joke, which is kind of funny. But again, swap the genders. It's a little boy flips up a girl's skirt or something like that, and everyone laughs. Yeah, no way, that's not gonna happen. But she's just showing her running around, just being a fool. Like, she jumps on soap things and slides across the ground. She's throwing water balloons at people. And I'm assuming since this is a school for thieves, and there's probably like multi-billion-dollar thefts going on and like high-ranking assassins and stuff. So she's like throwing water balloons at one of these guys, and he chases after her because she's going to get in trouble. But she doesn't get in trouble. Well, that PE, I'm going to call it, she's basically the PE teacher. She just punches him for going after her for doing something wrong. So it was the man that was wrong for trying to, I don't know, I don't think he was going to physically hurt her, but at least get her in trouble. But of course not, because Carmen can never do anything wrong. Or a black sheep is what they call her when she's in the school. And he gets put in his place because he's a man and we're women and girls got to look out for each other, right? When that guy got punched, she like picked up his cell phone and like kept it. Because like, you're not supposed to have outside contact, but she like held onto this cell phone. Some time passes because she looked like she was 10 in this scene. Then it just shows her when she's probably 13, 14 maybe, and the phone rings. So she's kept it charged this whole time. Like, how was she charging it? I don't know. They don't explain anything. And it's some little white hat symbol, and it's that player guy. Oh, I hacked your phone, and like, I'm a white hat hacker. You know what that is, kids? Kind of dumb. And of course, she asks where he's from, and he's like, oh, Niagara Falls. And she's like, oh, that's in Canada. Like, she knows geography. They always kind of bring that up every now and then. It's kind of a funny callback. But of course, he's from Canada, not America, because that's where only evil people come from, America. And I guess they become best friends. And she's always like calling him and stuff and talking to him. He doesn't know she's in thief school. She just assumes that she's at like a boarding school or something because he doesn't know any better. And she makes the decision. Once I made contact with the outside world, I made my decision to like join the school, like to become an actual thief. Why would that make her do that? I don't know. But she basically calls a council meeting with the evil council.
Evil council? I got your message.
And everyone's generically evil. You have super old evil guy. You have the big lady we already met. We have like the fashionista evil lady. The eccentric lady who invents things. Enchantra, basically. And then I guess their karate instructor, their ninja guy. Everyone's kind of wishy-washy about it, but then she kind of pleads her case that I'm good enough to do all this. Everyone agrees, but what do they call him? Was it Shadow San or something like that? Ridiculous. Everyone basically says, okay, let her into the school, but he doesn't like it, but majority rule. She moves in and gets to her bunk, and then we get to meet like her other bunkmates. Then we get this white chick here. Just this right here. This you don't even have to hear her talk or anything. Just look at that face. Who wants to bet she's her rival and hates her guts? It's as simple as that. Then we get to meet the guy that caught her on the train. So I guess they'd known each other ever since school, and he seems like a decent guy, like just okay. But this is even after she like got up in his face, which is really weird. We get the white girl is looking at her little China doll thing. Not China dolls, her little Russian dolls. Oh, what do you got in here? Your jewelry. And then she's like, don't touch my stuff. And she's getting really protective. And of course she's like, oh, I'm going to do it anyways. And our boy here is like, oh, we're going to be living together. Let's, stop fighting. So he's kind of a decent dude. And, you can tell, he kind of likes her. So he's kind of being sweet on her and everything. And his story is he used to work at the Sydney Opera House. Can you get any more generic? And he worked like backstage, and I realized I could do more if I turn off the lights. What? So what happened after that? He filled out an application. How do you get to the school? He's just a kid. So what did he do? They don't explain how you actually get into the school. Do thieves find you and bring you? It's really, really dumb. But they go to the first class, and it's the Asian guy, and they're like making origami because like precision or something. So it's basically we get a little rundown of a bunch of classes. The PE teacher is showing them how to fight with sticks. Then we get the fashionista lady who's like, oh, these two vases, one's a knockoff and one's worth $100,000. Gotta find which one's which. I'm glad in these scenes it didn't show anyone doing good or bad. It just kind of goes from class to class to class. Then we see the chemistry lady. She invents that little shock stick thingy. Then we get to that mastermind guy kind of does a demonstration of doing like the switch. Like if you both have a briefcase and you walk by each other, bump into the person, when they drop theirs, you swap theirs. Okay, it's very, very basic kind of stuff. We have no, I guess it's still the first day of school, and she's talking to her player. And she's like, oh yeah, the first day of school is really, really cool. And then she's not supposed to be contacting anyone, but I guess Carmen's allowed to break every rule there is because whatever. I thought it was kind of cute that the one guy's like, hey, we had to get to class. And then player's like, oh, who was that? She's like, oh, it's my best friend. And he gets like a little jealous, like, oh, I thought I was your best friend. Because you can tell, even though he's never actually physically seen her, he kind of has like a crush on her. But I'm assuming this kid's younger than she is. Then they get to like a workout scene, and they're wearing stilts like the ones you wear if you had to paint something high on the wall. And like, oh, you have the first person to touch this thing that's way up. One of the... He said he was from South America. He jumps off his stilts and he starts climbing the rock wall. But of course, Carmen is the smartest smart who's ever been smart. So she knows that these things can extend super high. And then she just makes her stilts longer and then hits the thing and wins. And like before he did. Wouldn't it have been nice to show that they were all good at different things instead of just letting Carmen be the best at everything? Then there's a little scene where they're like rappelling off of stuff. And of course, Carmen's having the time of her life. And the other guy, oh, he's so scared because he's a man and he's stupid. And he has a weird body frame. Like he has no midsection. It's just legs and chest. It looks like he should be a lot taller than he is. He's really weird looking. But we get this other scene where, just like pushing through the water balloons at that one guy in the beginning, I guess apparently this lady was like a bookkeeper. And she has to actually physically come in with their hard drive to do all the money. And she's like, yeah, let's hit her with water balloons. So they hit them with water balloons and they get caught. They get called in front of the evil council, the 5 teachers they have apparently. And the one, Shadow-san, I believe his name is like, oh, I want to expel her. Then the PE teacher, which I think is the nicest to her, which is kind of like her mom in a weird way. It's like, oh, isn't that a little extreme? Then the one guy, the Australian guy, steps up and he's like, hey, we egged her on. It's everyone's fault. And they make the decision, well, we can't expel everybody. So we're gonna just give them detention, and then the white girl's like, "Ugh, detention. This sucks." Well, it's a lot better. Shouldn't there have been some type of like real punishment? If this is like a school for thieves and they're like an evil organization, this isn't like thieving for fun. This is like thieving for real life. Why in the world is there actual just regular detention? So, they come to the idea like, oh, we have to come up with their code names because they haven't got their code names yet. So I guess apparently you just make up your code names. And they're coming up with really stupid things, and I don't remember what they are because that's how dumb they are. Then our Australian guy's like, oh, I'll be Crackle because, like, the crackle of the little spark thingy. Crackle, like the candy. It's kind of dumb. Then we get the South American guy, and he's like, "Oh, I'm sure-footed as the mountain goat." So like the Chavas, the Spanish for goat. Then we get that other guy, that short guy. Then he's like, "Oh, I burrow underground, so I'm the El Torpo." Here's the thing: did he ever do anything to make us think that he's an underground digger guy? Like it just comes up right here. Maybe this should have been another episode where we saw him with this ability. We saw the other guy climb up that wall pretty quick, so that's like his specialty. So this guy's specialty is to have these like claws like dig to the ground, like, huh? And same thing for the white girl. She just, I earned my stripes, and Tony the Tiger.
It's time for you to earn your stripes.
Okay, Tony, you're up.
I'm Tigress. What? This happened? Like, when did we establish this? And straight out of The Incredibles, they have La Bamba. They have a mime. Like, that's his thing. He's a mime. And he steals things. And then he's like doing like a charade. They're trying to guess his code name. And of course, Carmen figures it out because she's smarter than everyone. He's mime bomb, like instead of mind bomb. It's so ridiculous. Thieves are superhero or super villain school. I don't know. But I guess time's passed. So they were in detention, came up with their names, and now this is the next day, next week, next year. I'm assuming this is a multi-year academy. I doubt they could train you to be a master thief in under... It would take a lifetime to actually learn how to do these things, but in cartoon logic, it's just like a high school for 4 years? They never explain it, so I'm assuming it's less than that. So they're like taking their final exams before they can become like master ninjas or master thieves. So a couple of months? Their first test is, of course, with Shadow-san, and you have to I got a dollar bill in my coat. You have to steal it, and you have 2 minutes. He has Tigress come up. And she has like her gadgets, so she uses her little spy eyeball thingy to like look into his coat and see where it is, and then they have like a little fight. He's smacking her around and everything, and he's kind of easily beating her. But then she slices his coat with her hand. Like first she throws dust in his face, and to distract him, slices his robe and finds the dollar in there. And it's funny because Karma's like, she's going to get in trouble for like basically cheating. But they're thieves. There is no such thing as cheating. You can do whatever it takes. He, of course, is being sloppy. And he kind of says that, but you can't argue with the results. It's Carmen's turn. So she goes there all determined, and it just cuts straight to the next scene. And it's like she failed. But I didn't fail. I checked every pocket. He must have not had a dollar in there. So then again, setting up that Carmen can never fail. She's never wrong. It's always something someone else did. So, wouldn't it be great if there really wasn't a dollar in there? We don't find out in this episode, and we just find out she wasn't as good as she thought she was. Wouldn't that be just magical? But apparently this is the only test, because the very next scene, they have like the, another thing they do in every anime where, the test scores, who's the top student and everything. But I guess it's like either you passed or you failed. Everyone passed, even freaking La Bamba passed. And Bon Voyage, that was his name in freaking Incredibles. So he passes, everyone passes but our girl, Carmen. She failed. Then she goes and confronts the teacher because you just hate me and you don't like me and you cheated at the test and I'm good and you just don't want me to be, you don't want to admit that I'm the best. This is a common trait in these new shows. Like, we can't show a powerful woman or female character without showing how evil and horrible a man is. Star Trek Discovery, Michael Burnham's the same way. She's the best, and it's everyone else who's wrong. And if even she fails, it was someone else's failure. Very, very similar. So she's like, screw that. I'm going to sneak onto the plane that they're going to go do their first mission later that night. So they found out they were part of the, I guess, 40 thieves graduate every year. And, you know, Alibaba and these 40 thieves. And she sneaks onto the helicopter, but the mime guy was like behind her. So we don't know what happens with that. It's just they get onto the helicopter. She's like hiding in one of the things, and that's the end of the episode. Overall, the animation is adequate. It's nothing groundbreaking. They don't do anything too amazing. It's consistent enough. It didn't have these words up and downs like She-Ra had. It was consistently okay. Music is hit or miss. Nothing really stood out to me. They had a lot of like a theme. So like when they were taking their test, there was a lot of music playing, but it was nothing that really grabbed me. Story wise, it's okay, but there's a lot of stuff that doesn't make sense. There's how do you get into the school? How do you get there? How do you apply? How do you stay? What if you fail? They kick you out, and well, I go back to my old life, and oh yeah, by the way, I was gone for 6 months. I was at this freaking school that trains thieves, and I would imagine they would, if this was taken seriously, they would kill you if you can't just leave. You know, you can't take your secrets of everything that they have. It's just a weird setup. It was to have these little high school moments. Is the only reason why there's a school like this. It's a little dumb. Carmen is too perfect. She has no flaws whatsoever. That's a huge. I know it's only one episode, but they could have at least shown her fail at a couple of things. No, failed at nothing. I guess her only fault was that she threw water balloons at that lady. Oh, she's a little bit of a prankster. Well, that's not necessarily a fault. That's just a weird quirk of hers. But yeah, that's the end of episode 1. I'm not gonna do one a day like I did for She-Ra because that was more of like a challenge from everyone on Twitter. But I'm gonna probably do one every couple of days because there's only 9 episodes. So right out the gate, just okay, just an okay series. I want to see where is this going. Why is she still a thief, but kind of a rogue thief? She's not working for Vile anymore, or part of their little group because that other guy's like try to stop her. So let's see where this is going. It's an okay start, but yeah, I'm not looking forward to it, but I'm also not like disgusted or irritated beyond belief. As long as there's no prom episode, but my God, there just might be. Who knows? But yeah, just okay. Crimson Sin here. Thanks for watching, and be sure to like, sub, and share. Also, for the most up-to-date information about the podcast, follow us on Twitter at C15 Podcast.